Alright, now we're going to talk about the Barber quarter, which you see here. The Barber quarter came about the same way that the Barber dime did. And the reason that it was made is people were really kind of wanted to change the seated Liberty coinage, and they put out a contest. It did not go very well. They didn't get any submissions from the invited people, so they had some public ones. They looked at them, they weren't anything they really liked. So they had the mint engraver, Charles Barber, come up with a design, and this is what he came up with that they approved. And they put all of them into commission at the same time, so they all started in 1892. And they went up until 1916, which was the end of the run. And this quarter right here happens to be in 1893, so it is one of the first years of this coin. So it's just like the Barber dime, also the Barber half dollar. They put them all in at the same time to replace the seated coinage that they thought was somewhat outdated. And this coin was eventually replaced by the standing Liberty quarter in 1916. Alright, the design of the coin. The obverse of the coin is almost identical to the Barber dime. The head is the same. The head is a Liberty head with a hair piece that says Liberty in it with some like leaves. It has 13 stars around it. It says "In God We Trust" at the top and has the date at the bottom. Now the reverse of the coin has an eagle because it was mandated that all coins over 10 cents had to have an eagle on them, which is why you always saw eagles on quarters, half dollars, dollar coins at that time. And what this is it's an eagle with arrows in one talon and a branch in the other talon, and it says United States of America around the rim. Has 13 stars at the top, and he has a ribbon that says E Pluribus Unum, which if you get the good grade ones you'll be able to see it. And there is a shield in the middle here, and then on the bottom it says quarter dollar, and then you would see the mint mark wherever the mint mark is. Alright, mint initials, the same as on the dime. It is down on the neck of the coin. It's going to be hard to see, but down where the date is, you will see a B for Barber, for Charles Barber, who designed it, and that's where the initials would be. It's just the B for Barber. Alright, the designer of this coin is Charles E. Barber, and we talked about him in the Liberty V-Nickel episode, so we won't go too much in depth with him. But he used very similar obverse designs for the dime, quarter, and half dollar. And the reverse design of the quarter and half dollar are the same. And the obverse is pretty much the same. They were just different sizes. In the dime, he designed the reverse of the dime, which was based off of James B. Longacre's previous design that he made for a coin. So, if you want to know a little bit more, you can check out the last episode, the V-Nickel episode. Alright, specifications of the Barber quarter. It weighed 6.25 grams. It was 90% silver, 10% copper, and it had 0.18084 ounces of silver, so just under a 20th of an ounce of silver. And it's a 24.3 millimeter in diameter coin, and it has a reeded edge. Alright, mints. These were minted in Philadelphia, which had no mint mark, and they were also minted in San Francisco, which has an S. Denver, which has a D, and New Orleans, which has an O. And your location is right underneath the tail feathers of the bird. You'll see in between the R and the D, in between quarter dollar, you'll see an O up above it on this one, because this happens to be a New Orleans piece. And that's where you would see the mint mark, and that's where they were mint. Alright, now mintages of the Barber quarter series. A lot of the later dates from 1900 all the way up to the end in 1916 are pretty affordable, except for a couple of them. They're pretty reasonable, maybe a couple of times the melt at the most for low grades. I will point out, high grades of any of these Barber quarters, dimes, halves, what have you, will be big money when you get into high grades. But for a regular collector, low grade varieties, you can get them, you know, a couple of times spot. Usually, you're pretty good. The exception of some of the ones in the laters is the 1914 S, only 264,000 were made, so that's a pretty, it's not the showstopper, but it is like, it starts out at like an $80 coin. The 13S, only 40,000 were made, so that's a really big one. And also the 1901S, only 72,000 plus was made. So those two right there go for, you know, starting out in the 4 digits, so those are the expensive ones. Also in that same category, you would find the 1896S, which was only 188,000 made, which is starts out at almost 1,000. And most of the other ones are all a million or more. And the other thing that you would want to point out is that there are 2 types of the first year 1892, which I'll get into in the key date set. Alright, key dates to the Barber quarter series. Obviously, proof coins are going to be big if anybody can get a hold of a proof coin. I think that they're great if you can get a hold of one. The key dates that you're going to find for these is going to be the 1896S is a very key date. Also, the 1901S, the 1913S, and the 1914S are big showstoppers. There are a few other ones that are kind of key dates, like some of the earlier ones can be if you really want to look them up to know for sure. And also the first year, 1892, there were 2 varieties of the reverse, and one had the eagle's wings only over half of the letters. As you notice here, the eagle wings is over the E in United and the E in America. And in 1892, they had a variety where it was only over half of the letter of United, of the E, and there was another variety where most of it was covered, and the scarcer one is where only half of the E was covered. So that's the Barber quarter series. Again, I don't really know too much about the Barber series. As I said in the Barber dime one, I'm not a huge Barber dime person. I personally only have a few of them, and Little Bear Coins is a company. Pretty much we sell them. We buy and sell them, but we've never really dealt in any rare ones or anything. We usually deal with the the common date, scrap silver, low end ones. We don't really deal with the rare ones. But I'm sure if there's anything I'm missing, people will correct me in the video. So thanks for watching.